All right, guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're going to take on a subject that it's pretty massive. Headaches. Headaches are something that can be some of the most serious conditions and some of the most innocent conditions. A person can have a headache because they're having something dramatic happen in their health that is life-threatening, and they can have headaches that are so innocent but pretty annoying. You take migraines, for example. Uh, I know a lot of our viewers are migraine sufferers. It's what brought me into chiropractic. I didn't come to the chiropractor when I was about 18 for back pain or sports injury. I came because I had been everywhere for migraines, and there weren't any decent results. I was told by a neurologist that I was making it up, that I was, had some kind of strange curse that was genetic. And he was wrong on all that stuff. And it was pretty disappointing to be on a bunch of drugs that barely helped. I did incredible things like freeze my head in snowbanks, and went to every imaginable length listening to music and doing a lot of stuff, and didn't really get anywhere. And after years of suffering, my wonderful aunt, Rosalie, took me to her chiropractor. I was 18 and she insisted, hey, you have to go see this guy. And I got such great resolution from my migraines, it became a chiropractor. And the story goes on from there, and I could tell it another time. But the bottom line is I found incredible relief through chiropractic. But migraines aren't the only type of headaches there are. And there's 10 different types of headaches. And they could, for sake of conversation, they're much easier to put into 3 categories. Migraines, like I mentioned, cluster headaches, which are a little less common, and then, of course, the most common type, tension headaches. Each are caused by different things and some things in common. Stress can cause any of these things, right? Because stress brings on chemical and physical changes in our body that can lead to tension patterns, changes in hormones, changes in adrenaline that all lead to that. But the migraine is the most common. And if you look at the different things that happen, I mean, headaches in general are more common in women than in men. Younger girls get them, and that can be hormone related, stress related. And men get them as well, but it's way more common, almost twice as common to have them in women than in men. And if you look at, there's conditions that are related. People that carry a lot of fear and tension and anxiety disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder, have way more headaches. So we know there's a strong emotional component. And like anything that I review, I look for the emotional, the chemical, and the structural or the physical reason for whatever dysfunction someone's dealing with. The most common neurological disability in the world is a migraine headache. It's a neurological disability because it truly involves neurological components. Most people who get migraines will tell you that they suffer some kind of aura. They'll have either nausea or some kind of visual complaint. They'll see spots, they'll lose quadrants of their vision. And it's the first time somebody has that, of course, is terrifying, because a lot of the symptoms of migraines mimic strokes and brain tumors and bleeds, hemorrhages, blood clots, a lot of horrifying things. So we put together 10 questions that I think are most common questions, and we're going to answer those in a minute. But I just want to say, if you really like these podcasts, make sure you subscribe to the channel and you hit the like button on this, because I'd love to see who's out there. Please comment. We can start conversations regarding natural health care, because if anything, the world needs to get healthier right now, as soon as possible. And the things that you do to get rid of migraines are similar to the things you do to get rid of back pain and get rid of digestive disorders. Healthy is kind of healthy. There's specifics, obviously. But in general, right, everyone, raising to the challenge right now of being as healthy as possible has got to be a number one goal. When I looked at classifying these different types of headaches, I thought, let's talk about the cluster headache, because the cluster headache is a little less common. The strangest thing I found about it is that they're common in January and June. And there's really no matter how I looked, there really wasn't much rhyme or reason to that. Anything that's seasonal could certainly be related to pollen, mold, seasonal foods that are more commonly eaten, certainly humidity, temperature, that kind of stuff. But January and June really don't have a lot in common, so it's pretty wild. They can come on at night and in the morning, cluster headaches. And they're termed the suicide headache because they're at least as severe as a severe migraine, but they tend to linger for weeks and sometimes months, and people just are at wit's end. And neurologists have come up with a lot of great answers. There's a lot of really good medications for this. I'm not one that necessarily promotes medication. I promote natural health care, but I know that there's a time. I personally know that, and I professionally know that. And there's a time to get people out of these things. The triptans are one of those medications. There's a lot of things going on related to muscle contraction in a lot of headaches. And so it's something that you want to take seriously. And people will often get into, when is a headache serious? And a headache is serious the first time you get one, it's serious because you don't know what the cause is. So you want to get to a doctor as soon as possible, professional of some type, have it diagnosed properly. That's just crucial. And then anytime you have a headache that's different than another headache that you're used to have, something's different in the character, the duration, the intensity, and there's neurological components, that's when you want to be concerned. That's when you want to take a look at it. Certainly fevers related to that. A lot of people know that meningitis, it's an infection of the spinal cord and the meninges, the coverings over the cord. Putting the head forward, making the headache worse is a great indication that you're having meningitis. Very serious. Get to the emergency room as soon as possible. And associated fever, a fever that comes along with that, of course. And those headaches are so severe, and they tend to give people a decent warning, because especially if someone's not a headache sufferer and they have that. The migraine sufferers, it's a little tougher because you have to differentiate one headache from another. The headache they usually have is similar to that. A lot of people that have had headaches from mild head trauma, they really mimic the migraines they may have already had.